All right, good morning and welcome in to a Wednesday edition, a weird Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, as I am the lone man in the studio this morning. I got in this morning and, I was going through some of the pre-show stuff, clicked on the highlights from last night's LSU baseball game just to get a little refresh. I'm in the middle of watching it, kind of locked in, and I look over at the clock and I see that it's 7:01 and that I'm alone here in the studio. So I give Lloyd a few calls, no response. Hoping he's all right. Figured he's probably just sleeping. So I've shifted over here to the producer chair, and it's a solo show today. So I don't know if we'll get the full 2 hours, but I'm gonna do my best to push through. But I wanted to make sure you guys got some content this morning and I didn't leave y'all hanging. So I appreciate everybody. And we're going to get through it this morning. Don't forget, every single day, the show is built and brought to you by RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over there, residential, commercial, all of it. They do great and excellent work. The phone line, no phone guest this morning. Hopefully we can get Lloyd on the phone soon. Brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center. Christian is actually not in trouble. Christian is headed out to LSU spring practice, so I'm going to get to that in just a second. Charlie Harvey, Jason Ramazan over there with Southern Regional Medical Center, they bring the phone line. My phone line is going to be ringing Lloyd every 5 minutes over here, trying to get him in here, make sure he's all right. And then every day, we're part of the G Squad. Gordon McKernan and his team, the G team. Gordon McKernan, injury lawyers, Louisiana's big truck injury lawyer, and he's also the NIL king. So, Christian, the reason he is not here is because LSU spring football begins today, obviously, and for media coverage. And I got the notification yesterday that spring football practice is starting at 7:20. So obviously for us, it kind of sucks for the Culotta Show because we are from 7 to 9, and so with practice starting at 7:20. Me and Lloyd obviously have to be in here, so Christian's going to go out to practice. So Christian will be out there, and he's going to get videos and everything. We'll have a photographer out there as well getting pictures. Christian will also go to the press conference. I won't be able to be out there, obviously, because, like I said, I'm right here with you guys doing the show. So we're still going to get the same coverage and the same content out to you guys, but I personally will not be able to be there. But that's why it's been nice to be able to add to this team and grow. But that is why Christian is not here, because he is going to go out to the Ponderosa and cover practice for us so that we can have some great coverage for all of you. Obviously, we discussed it a little bit yesterday, what we're going to be looking for with practice. Don't forget, obviously last night LSU baseball wins as they take down Xavier. Just dominated from start to finish. I mean, just straight up domination from start to finish, when it comes to from the jump. You've got William Schmidt going out there, and I was personally surprised to see Schmidt get the start, to get the ball to start the game last night, just because I didn't know, kind of figuring out where he's going to fit in, because I felt like a weekend role was on the way for him, not a weekend starter role, but a role on the weekend was on the way. So I was surprised to see him get the start, but I was not surprised to see him only go for the one inning before they kind of pitched by committee through the rest of the game after that 7-run first inning that the LSU bats had. I see y'all in the chat. We do trust Christian's practice report. He did a great job during fall camp last year, but the most important thing he's going to be doing is getting video like that. Because if he gets video, then I'm able to build my own practice report based off of what I'm seeing from the video. And in response to Messina, Christian will not be asking any questions. He will be at the press conference. He'll get video of the press conference. He'll be around. He'll take notes. He is not asking no questions. He's not asking any questions to Brian Kelly. But it would be nice if BK asked about the Christian Mingle segment and asked Christian about his date to Counterculture the other day. As Lloyd texted my phone this morning. So obviously it'll be nice to see practice from Christian today, but obviously last night LSU baseball, just dominated. That 7-run first inning was fun to watch. It was just a quick domination. Curiel gets on base. Jared Jones stays hot and crushes one to make the score 2-0, and then Daniel Dickinson right behind him makes it 3-0. Carl Dunn says that's the last time you will see number 9 during the midweek game. I would agree with you, Mr. Dunn, because I was surprised to see him even go last night, and obviously after what happened in that first inning, he only pitches, those first 3 outs, and that was it. After that, obviously the bat started moving when you're talking about back-to-back home runs, like I said, from Jones and Dickinson, and then from then on out, I mean, they were crushing baseballs. The first inning, the runs were scored. Brown singled through the middle, because that to me is what's happening. What's been great is you're seeing more bats get to work. You go back-to-back home runs, and then you get a Pearson single, you get a Milam walk, and then a Brown single to score Pearson and to get Milam to third. And then you see Hernandez grounds into a double play, but Milam still scores. Stanfield singles. It's just unbelievable the way LSU is able to continue to win baseball games and just dominate from the plate, whether it's home runs, whether it's singles and base hits, it's stolen bases. They're just such a well-rounded team, and you saw that again last night. So I'm excited to get SEC play started this weekend. It can't get here any faster just because of the way the Tigers have looked. I mean, when you're talking about 18-4 in 7 innings last night, when you see South Alabama taking down Ole Miss, Texas A&M's dropping games here and there, LSU's able to go out and take care of business, and that's what the best teams do. That's why LSU has that number 1 ranking. They've gone out and beat solid teams like Dallas Baptist, who took down Oklahoma State last night, like Nebraska and Kansas State. But then they take care of business in these midweek games. They had the clunker last week, and since then they've been completely locked in, and you can't ask for anything more. Sabrion says in the chat, if Reeves' bat gets hot and he plays good at third, I think Braswell can forget about playing. I wouldn't say Braswell can forget about it, but I will agree with what Carl says right behind you. I think he's got third base secured as of right now. You've seen Jay go to him the last couple of games consistently. Last night he hits another one out, and he's done such a great job at the plate. We'll see what happens during SEC play, because obviously that's when Braswell started to put it together. In the second half of the season, when they got into SEC play, Braswell got that batting average up and played a much better shortstop as well. But now at third base, I think the defensive aspect, I think Braswell's probably got the nudge ahead of Reeves in the field, just because you can tell Reeves is a second baseman at third base, a little out of position. But if Reeves is going to continue to swing the bat like this, if he finds a way to push that through SEC play, it's going to be hard to take him out of that spot. And to me, that's the one spot that LSU needs to really kind of solidify coming soon. We've talked about the last couple of days where you look through that lineup. I mean, just off the top of my head, you're going 1, Curiel locked up, 2, Jared Jones locked up, 3, Dickinson locked up. Like, those 3 are solid. I just hit the mic. Those 3 are solid. And then you go 4, Pearson, Fry, kind of mix it up with the DH spot. But Pearson, the way he's swinging the bat right now. And then obviously you go Milam, Brown in right field. And then from then on, 7, 8, 9, you've got Hernandez, Reeves, Stanfield. That lineup is locked in right now. You're going to see some movement. Obviously, Hernandez is not going to catch every game. The outfield is going to get mixed up. But I think you've got, 6 guys probably locked in when you're thinking of Curiel, Jones, Dickinson, Milam, and then I would say Stanfield at 9 is locked in because he's able to turn lineup over, and what he can do defensively is so special. And I think Pearson's going to be in the lineup every single game, whether it's DH or in the outfield. Pearson, the way he's swinging the bat right now, you can't take him out. And we'll see how Reeves is able to perform through SEC play. So it was good to see them take care of business last night. And it's not like they just kind of waddled out there and took care of business and was able to beat and get a win. They went out there and dominated 18-4, where That's just a good win to have in the midweek. That's 12 straight for LSU, and they're going to go into SEC play very confident because they're playing really well. So don't forget, Roback, where's it at? This is the dog right here. Pet that dog, Roback. Tigers 20% off. Lloyd just texted me back, so I'm going to take a quick break right here. I'm going to call Lloyd back, hopefully get some answers from him. See what's happening. Whether he comes in or not, we'll be right back after a couple words from our sponsors. So let me get everything organized here, and we'll be right back after this.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
All right, I'm back. And Lloyd is on his way. He should be here very soon. So we'll be able to get a more regular-looking Jordy Culotta show on this Wednesday morning as Lloyd's about to pull up. But like Clemmer said, I don't think he'll have any donuts. But Messina, I probably should have. That would have been a great idea to have Lloyd join us here or do that phone call live. But Lloyd just slept in a little bit. He had a late night handling some business for the show, and he fell asleep sitting up, he said. So one of a kind guy, but he's on the way in here. But to talk a little bit about spring practice today, obviously I will not be out there. Christian should be getting out there relatively soon. We make sure he's awake. And so if he's able to get out there, he's going to get us some stuff sent back so I can have content put out for all of you guys really soon. So as soon as practice is over, the content will be up and out of there so that y'all can see what happened really the same time I do, because I'm not going to be able to get out there from 7:30 to 8 or whenever it is. Thank you, Dwayne. Everybody, hit that like button, like, comment, subscribe, the whole deal. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Lloyd is on the way, so I'm only going to be a one-man band for so much longer. But I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to cancel the show. I didn't want to push back 30 minutes or an hour. I knew I could get in here, get on the microphone, make it happen for you guys. So I wanted to get the content out as soon as possible for y'all. But Lloyd is on the way, and it'll be back to normal really soon. But today at practice, obviously, I told Christian, because I gave him the instructions. Hey, what are you going to do? This is what I'm going to get you to do video-wise. What are you going to be looking at? What are you going to make happen? I told him that today, cover everything. Like, get video of all the new guys, all the new faces. Make sure you can see them in their new jerseys, the whole deal. Get clips of all the new additions. Get that out first. Just so that, because that's what y'all want to see. That's what I want to see. We want to see the new faces, the new additions to LSU, and add from there. Obviously, as days will go on, we'll get more out to you guys, more specific things. But I told him to cover all the bases. Don't stick to one room. Don't sit there on the wide receivers for the 20 minutes or the corners. I was like, get the trenches, get the O-line, get the D-line, linebacker, like, cover it all. We're going to get all you guys. We're going to get you guys content of every single thing that is being shown at practice. And that'll get put out the second practice ends. We'll have that up and posted on our YouTube channel. So Christian will be out there. We've got one of our photographers from the content team going to get out there to get some really good pictures from practice today that we'll be able to use through the rest of the season. Spectrum wants to see Sadir Mitchell 100% get a look at that new defensive line room. Obviously, the new defensive line coach, Kyle Williams, and what it looks like out there. Glimmer asked, did rally time ever get put up? It will be posted at noon today. Rally time will go out at noon today. Because the upload took a little long yesterday, took a while. Finally got it uploaded yesterday afternoon. Didn't want to put it up during the baseball game, so it'll go live at noon today. Or not live. It'll be posted at noon today, and you'll be able to go watch it. So Christian will be out on the practice field today getting video for you guys. We'll have him back in the studio tomorrow morning. He can even go a step further, give us a practice report. We'll see actually how locked in and intelligent Christian is. Go Tigers 195 says, I want to see Kern put somebody on their back. Amen. It'll be nice to see. I don't know how much of the physicality, how in-depth they'll go during practice today, probably outside of, just some of the ancillary things, the warm-up drills. It's really today, in my opinion, it's probably just going to be a nice look, an introduction, just get to see everybody out there. They're not really going to give us too much to watch, but if they do, that would be awesome. Appreciate the good luck, Mr. Dunn. Good luck to Central in the state playoffs. And Jason pushes back about the Jackets. Best of luck to the Jackets as well. We'll see. But appreciate you guys being here this morning. Lloyd is on the way, and we're going to get more of that baseball discussion. We'll talk more football. But, yeah, one of the things I'm looking forward to today is to really see kind of what the dynamic is between some of these new guys and their teammates, their coaches, just seeing how the meshing has gone. You know, when you're talking about the transfer portal and bringing in a class like that, one of the biggest question marks is how are they going to fit in? Are they going to be able to mesh? Or is it going to be able to work? Like, that's the biggest knock I heard against Ole Miss last season when they went in, spent all that money in the portal from the Grove Collective, and added Walter Nolan and all these different pieces. Was like, well, how are they going to do playing together? It's going to be a ragtag team, not a ragtag team, but a push-together team of just random guys from different schools. Are they going to be able to mesh and build chemistry and work out together? That's what I'm looking forward to for LSU. I want to see how they're meshing with the guys that have been there, how they're meshing with these coaches, some of these new coaches, Alex Atkins, obviously Kyle Williams, some of the new analysts and how involved they are, a guy like Lance Guidry, the former DC at Miami, just what the dynamic looks like. But the one thing I hate that I'm not out there for is the energy, feeling the energy and the vibe. That was my favorite part about being on the practice field, whether it was spring practice or fall camp, is you could feel the energy and the vibe from the coaches, the players when you're out there. And to me, that's what gave me such a good feeling about Blake Baker during fall camp and the growth this defense would make was because I could feel the energy and the excitement that the guys had for, to be coached by Blake Baker and to push forward for him. And so I hate that I'm not out there to be able to feel the vibes and the energy and to know what it's like from there. But obviously Christian will be out there. He's going to do great work. I trust the man. We'll see if he's going to ruin that trust. But for now, I trust him. John Quave, want to see them trenches go at it, 100%. Glimmer, I completely agree. These new pieces that have come in on the defensive line are going to have to step up and make a difference, especially at edge rusher. To me, that is just as much as we talked about the offensive line room yesterday, edge rusher is a group that you're going to have to keep an eye on because it's so many new faces. You have one guy returning with 50-plus snaps in Gabe Relaford, but you lost Deshaun Womack to the transfer portal. Savion Jones and Braden Swinson were excellent for you last year. They're gone. They're headed to the NFL. So now you've got 3 new faces in Butler, Pyburn, and Payton. Obviously, Patrick Payton, the expectations are going to be high, but you've also got some younger guys, like a guy like Kalaj Cobbins, I think. Dylan Carpenter's name is one that we talked about during camp last year. You're going to hear his name again now with this new opportunity at edge rusher. Damian Shanklin is one that I've brought up time after time because I think he's got a real opportunity to go make a difference. So to keep your eye on the edge rusher room. Obviously, I trust in Coach Peoples and the job he's going to be able to do there. He will be able to get the most out of the guys in that room. And I expect Gabe Relaford to make a massive jump from year 1 to year 2, a second year in the room with Coach Peoples, and nice growth and nice opportunity. Glimmer agrees. Spectrum, how are the freshman DTs progressing? No, that to me is one of the dynamics that I'm talking about, is obviously these freshman defensive tackles were recruited and brought in by Bo Davis. You know, these are Bo Davis's guys. A lot of them were committed to Texas or from Texas. Now they're coming in and Bo Davis is not here. What's that dynamic look like? You know, obviously, none of their names are in the portal. As the man, the myth, the legend walks in through the door, I did something. I had to do something.
You've been the liar the whole time.
But here comes Lloyd.
Good morning. Go get to your rightful throne. Here, King.
Thank you, sir.
How we doing, boys? Sorry, I was up late, booking guests. Hopefully, as we have Nick Underhill at 8:30 today. No Jacques Doucet. And this is not, we had a long chat. It's not a thing that just continues to happen. He has to go to LSU football today.
Yep.
As is his rightful, oh, that's okay. Watch this. As is his rightful place, as it should be. Boom.
There we go.
But Jacques said he wants to join us in the future and will continue to do so. But good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Let's go. We're back. I don't know why I'm putting those on. Don't need them. Not anymore. God, feels so much cool. Feels so much better over here. I look cool
with the backwards hat.
You
like King Griffey Jr.
I appreciate it. That's what a compliment. God, I love it much better. I love it a lot.
King Griffey Jr. played inside.
Yeah, good one. I like it over here. I tell you what, I can't stand sitting behind in that producer chair.
I know. I appreciate you picking up some slack, buddy.
Wanted to make it happen for you guys this morning. But good to see Lloyd in here this morning. He is alive. He's not dead. I'll tell you what, I was concerned a little bit. When the first call didn't get picked up,
yeah, usually,
I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah, if I don't pick up the first, I'm not picking up the second.
Right.
Yeah, fell asleep watching LSU baseball highlights as they dominated last night. And I was doing my due diligence, and then just after I was out, came back home, I was like, I'll pop this on, and then just fell asleep sitting up. It's hard to run a company, but it is also fun.
Yes, it is very fun.
It just, at some point, it becomes taxing.
Yes, no, it definitely is, physically and mentally. But that's, like I was telling them, I noticed this morning I was doing LSU baseball highlight, like I was watching it on the laptop, just giving my brain a little refresh before the show. And I'm watching it now. Look at the clock, and it said 7:01. And I was like, wait, I'm still sitting in here by myself. And so that's when I called you the first time, and then I started getting everything set up. So we were up and at him around 7:10 this morning. Made it happen. But like I said, they started cursing Christian out in the chat. I was like, it's not Christian's fault. Christian's going to practice.
On me. This is on
Christian's
me.
Headed to practice.
Are we sure?
Yes, I've already checked in. I called him. Well, I texted him when I got in my car this morning. I was like, hey, buddy, text me when you're awake. Because if he wasn't up by like 6:30, I was going to have to ring him and make sure we were locked and loaded. But we should be good on practice coverage today we were just talking about some of the position groups we didn't touch on yesterday. Edge rusher is one that we discussed. Tight end. Lloyd, what are your expectations in the tight end room?
3 of them now, eh?
Yes.
So I would imagine that, well, would you say the bigger news is...
Well, I guess 4 with J.D. LaFleur as well, the freshman.
Yeah, well, you could say 5 with who you saw last year.
What do you mean?
Bordelon?
Oh, yeah.
You could say LSU has 5 tight ends after they had none.
Yep.
But I would think that maybe is the biggest news that Trey quit basketball or walked away from the basketball team and was able to join LSU football at this early.
Right.
As opposed, because you brought in what, Bauer Sharp.
Yep. Donovan Green. J.D. LaFleur, the freshman.
J.D. LaFleur, the freshman. Bordelon, who spent time as a pseudo tight end.
A guard, tackle, tight end.
Yeah, got multiple jerseys.
Right.
All for the wall. And now you have Trey Green that you would think if LSU, like that was a real conversation that we had to have.
Yes.
About Trey Green playing basketball, and if LSU was, able to make a run at some point, like they're going to the tournament, like they're going to the SEC tournament right now.
Right.
He wouldn't be available, but instead it flips the script. There aren't really any viable future for LSU basketball at the moment.
No.
So he leaves the team, 2 weeks in?
Yeah, no, I mean, he was doing both because, like, he never fully, like, left football. Like, he was still
I understand that, but if they were good, I don't want to say it that way, but if they were good,
it would have been a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so now instead he's able to focus on football and be able to be there for the first practices of the spring.
Yes.
And so that's where I think that it gets interesting because you have Alex Atkins coming in as a new coach.
Tight end coach
/ run game coordinator / maybe pseudo offensive mind.
Right.
And to have him be able to have Trey Green there for the beginning of all of it, I think is more important than him playing basketball, just in my mind, as to where his future is and for LSU football. But I think it's going to be a great dynamic to see him working with Donovan Green, Bauer Sharp, and now Trey Green, because I don't know where he sticks. Because you look at all the pieces that LSU has at the skill positions, whether you talk about all of the wide receivers that LSU has,
right?
All of you can even throw Harlan Berry into that mix. I don't know where he fits in terms of just a straight up tight end,
right? Because
that's not he did it during the bowl game and it was admirable, but that's not really what he's. I don't think that's his job when it comes to either SEC football or NFL football. He's not going to be a end blocking player.
Right.
He's more of like a Jimmy Graham, I think is the best way to view him. But you already go through the wide receivers with me.
Yeah, I mean, you go
Nick Anderson.
To me, the 3, you have Nick Anderson, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson.
And then
you go Barry and Brown,
Jelani
Watkins, Xavier Thomas, Kyle Parker, Kylan Billiot, Manchild.
Kyle Parker.
Yep. It's a stacked room.
So that's where I think it's there's going to be, because I think he's too good to be just a package guy.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. He's not even too good. He's too easy to lock in on. As a defense, if he's on the field, a lot of eyes are going to go to number 14. Talking about guys on the field and in the booth, they're gonna be like, well, they've got Trey Dez on the field. We need to make sure, to have an eye on him at all times. So I do agree with you because it will be interesting to see where he fits in. Because to me, the goal right now is to turn him into more of a straight up tight end. That's what they want to do. I feel like when you look at what they did in the bowl game, obviously having him out at football, no longer doing basketball, they want him to bulk up and to get bigger and to be a better blocker. So it feels like they want him to be a straight up tight end because they want him on the field every single time. But I do believe you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets. And John Quav in the chat even says 3 tight end sets. I won't be surprised. But I think the reason you'll see 2 tight end sets is so you can have Trey Dez on the field, and then you can still get some inline blocking from a guy like Donovan Green. What's going through your brain over there?
3 tight end sets?
Would you put it past Brian Kelly to make it happen?
I mean, we talked about that. Who left the team? Who went to the portal?
From Mac Markway.
And
What's his face?
Pimpton.
Yep, Kamara Pimpton.
Like that was the fodder of LSU last year. And I mean, like, discount Mac Markway, who tried to, God forbid, that poor guy, his knees are in shambles.
Yes.
Because he tore his ACL again whenever he got to Nebraska, like a day in, which sucks because he was the number one tight end in the country for like a long-standing time in high school. But whenever it was Kamarian Pimpton and Trey'Dez Green and Mason Taylor.
Yeah, Mason Taylor.
Like, there's like, oh, LSU's going to go like multiple tight end sets. Like, they didn't do it. And then you see Pimpton hit the portal. That's not like really doesn't seem like to be a foundational thing that LSU's trying to do. And that was when a time when they couldn't run the football.
Right.
And so obviously they didn't do it, and they didn't go to a like, did you ever see Trey'Dez Green and Kamarian Pimpton on the field at the same time? I didn't.
No, not those two at the same time.
Right, and that was like, and this is a team that struggled in the red zone for the majority of the year, and you couldn't get those two on the field at the same time. So no, I don't think so. So I am more interested to see how they fit in one of them. Like, Trey'Dez Green has to be on the field, it feels like, because he doesn't want to get lost in the shuffle, which is why I think it's paramount that he got here from basketball,
right,
to be able to find a spot. Because you brought in Bauer Sharp, like, you brought in Donovan Green, so now you have de facto 3 tight ends, and then you brought in 3 other guys to play wide receiver. He has a spot on the team. I just wonder how they work him in with a new tight ends coach and what you want to do offensively. That there obviously should be like an emphasis on being able to run the football now.
Yes. So if you were to do your starting 11 on offense, what would your lineup look like? Obviously, there are a couple guys that are set in stone with a Nussmeier and a Caden Durham at running back. What's your offensive line look like, the tight end room, and then your 3 receivers?
I mean, I think let's go through the ones that we know for sure, right?
Yep.
Nussmeier?
Yep.
I feel like we can check that box as a starter.
Durham. Check.
Even though I did see some. Did you see Caleb Williams and some of those
highlights?
Caleb Jackson and some of those highlights. I put them together to be a 1-2 punch.
Yeah,
but apparently he looks lighter.
I would love it. Love it.
So, Durham, Nuss.
Let's go offensive line next.
It's the one I wanted to avoid because I'm not sure.
I know it. Braylon Moore's the center. I feel like that's
Braylon Moore's the center.
To me, I think left tackle is Tyree Adams' job
for sure. Yeah, like that's what it feels like. That's what's, but that's what worries me. It's like it's just a plug and play at this point. But I haven't seen it. Like we haven't seen any of it yet.
Right.
And so I guess if you have to write in a name, it would be Tyree Adams.
I mean, and he got the start in the bowl game.
Yeah.
And there was no complaints there, in my opinion. Like I didn't have to say his name many times. And then. So then we'll go from left to right. So left guard.
Chester?
I would say Chester.
Center?
Center is Moore. Right guard, right tackle. This is where it gets. To me, I think they want Josh Thompson to be a guard.
Me too.
So I would
be nervous if he was a tackle.
Yes, so I would put Thompson at right guard. And to me, right tackle is probably one of the positions that's got the most guys vying for it. I think Carius Kern has a real opportunity. You know, when you heard Brian Kelly talk about him, about his ability to get in the SEC, and you know he's physically ready day one. I think he's a guy there, along with Weston Davis, not Weston Banks.
Weston Banks. Yep.
Weston Banks is not a real person, but I've heard it so many times.
Dude,
it's in my head every time I say it. Yes.
Yeah.
Weston Davis. Carius Kern, Solomon Thomas, the other freshman.
1 pound fish.
Yep. And then there's one more guy. I can't. Why is it?
Ori Williams.
Ori Williams is the other one. So, but then you still have a guy like Paul Mabanga who was plug and play at left guard last year.
He started last year.
You know, whenever Dellinger went down, this was your left guard.
That's what, and it's a fickle mistress to try to bed, because I'm not sure what they're going to do with DJ Chester. Like DJ Chester, as soon as Josh Thompson gets to campus, it feels like you didn't pay him. He's listed on the On3 website as one of your like highest valuated NIL players, so it wasn't cheap to get him to come to LSU. And then you have Weston Davis, obviously, that right tackle. We haven't seen it yet. But I do think there's a world where if you see Josh Thompson play right tackle, it's probably not – that wasn't plan A in my mind. Like, I know he's done it, but that's at Northwestern, not in the SEC.
Yeah, no, I agree. John Quav drops his –
because Kerry's turned so athletic, like we've seen it.
Yes.
And Cohen Eccles so athletic, we've seen it. It's just a matter of being able to, I guess, develop these guys quickly. But you also saw what happened when you put a DJ Chester in there as a freshman and a Paul Benga in there as a freshman. Like, it's not easy.
No.
And that's why
not everybody's will camp.
And I'm not trying to like discount Josh Thompson, but you just haven't done it here yet. Like, it would be a fool's errand to write him in as like, oh, he can play right tackle at the SEC level.
Yeah, the SEC. No, it's tough. But to me, this is one of those rooms
played in the like probably the longest grass in the world.
Yes. And that's part of the reason why it does kind of suck that Thompson's not here yet, because this is a room that you want the guys to be on the field together soon. Like, so they can build up a chemistry and be used to playing next to one another and make sure that it all works. And there's not a, miscommunication or issues there. That's what was so great about the line that you've had the last couple of years was they've played together for so long. They've got experience and continuity together. You don't have that right now. And that's why you want to kind of figure this 5 out relatively soon. So now moving to tight end, I guess, would be the next position, when we're talking about offensive line. We've got running back, quarterback, O-line, tight end. To me, Trey'Dez Green is the starter. That's the guy at tight end.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think that's what they want him to be, and they're going to put an emphasis on making that happen.
I think, because I think this is fair to think about out loud. Because I don't see that.
You don't see that they want
They wouldn't
that?
have brought in this many people if they wouldn't have to be your everyday tight end. They would have used him as a specialty guy.
Well, I think
he's not
they will.
He's too. It's such an anomaly to be able to play tight end every down.
I'm not saying he's going to be the every down guy.
I don't think he's good.
But I'm saying when you put out that starting 11, the first 11 that touches the football field,
he's going to have his hand in the dirt.
Trey'Dez Green is going to be the tight end. Against Clemson on August 30th, 29th, whatever it is. I believe that Trey'Dez will be.
How many times do you think he lines up? This is where, this is on the offense. This is on Atkins. This is on Brian Kelly. This is on Sloan to figure out how to use him and not be predictable, right? That's what they were trying to avoid at some points last year, where it's if he's on the field, is he a tight end or is he a wide receiver? But you had the jack of all trades and Mason Taylor to where it was he could do both, and it was also. If that made you hard to defend. And that's what made you able to put Trey'Dez Green out wide. Now if you have, Bauer Sharp, the only thing we can go off of is his PFF grade, not a great run blocker. Donovan Green coming off of he was very highly rated coming out of high school, ACL tear. Didn't really see it yet. And I don't know what else you can glean on as to who to be a inline blocking tight end if that's what you want to do, but on, like we said. But I would be surprised because LSU does have to have it has an identity crisis at some points,
right?
Where if it's not going to be Nussmeier being able to run the football, then you're going to have to be able to line up and get in these sets where it looks like you're a kind of a power football running team and play off of that at some points. But you don't do that in college anymore.
Yeah,
it's all spread out very wide. So I'm interested to see if they just are Trey'Dez wants to put his hand. He showed that he was very willing to do it for one game, but would give me week 6 when you have, after you've gone through 4 games in the SEC and now you have a bye week and it's Alabama and you see their defensive end or you see, insert South Carolina.
Dylan Stewart.
I don't want to do this 45 times a game. I'm not I'm a skill guy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I see your point and your pushback because
And you're going to have a first-time starting left tackle. Like, you're going to need somebody that's going to be able to help at some point. Like, these are some of the flaws in LSU.
Who is that right now?
It's Tygee Hill, Tyree Adams.
Yeah, like,
but that's what I'm saying. You've seen him do it one game,
right?
And now you have Nussmeier coming back, who's your most important commodity. And what did he have last year? That whenever he was good or great, he had time.
Yes.
And now, if he doesn't have that, especially coming off the edge, whether it be left tackle, right tackle, both are being replaced. Like that should be a concern because we're all excited. Like, I think we look at all of the flash that came into LSU, what you did in the transfer portal to revamp your defense, revamp your offense in a way because you lost some like key pieces along the road. But you also have like unproven commodities that you're just trying to kind of say, oh yeah, just put Adams at left tackle. It'll be fine. Like you're replacing a top 5 pick. Yeah. Like, and you're replacing another as high as we were on both Emory Jones and Will Campbell last year. Like, that's where we should also look at that as definitely a deficiency at this point, because you can't say that, oh, they'll step in and be fine whenever you are so high on what it was going into the year last year of Will Campbell and Emory Jones. Like, so you have to think that that's going to be a step down, and you have to kind of build your offense around that kind of coming to, like, getting its own feet together, because you saw what happened when you had DJ Chester play for the first time. Like, you've seen what happens when these guys get into the SEC against veteran opponents, that it's not as easy as just saying, oh, I know he's good. Like, I know that they're all skilled, but it gets harder.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you have a quarterback that it's all going to fall on him.
Right. And that's what you don't want to happen. And you want as much of the weight off of Nussmeier's shoulders as possible, and that's what makes it tough.
Well, you saw what happened when it was all on his shoulders.
Right. And to me, that's part of the point of what you're looking for going into next season, is that you don't have to stress about that. So I do believe that it's going to be a tough conversation and kind of figuring, like, a tough task when you're talking about tight end. Like, with those guys in that room, you've got I'll say four guys: Tradez, Donovan Green, Bauer Sharp, J.D. LaFleur. Right? 3 of them are transfer / freshmen. One is essentially a wide receiver that you have at tight end, kind of in the middle. You know, he's kind of a hybrid. Who do you turn to? And that's why, in my mind, they're going to go to Tradez, because they've obviously pushed for him to get better when it comes to inline blocking. They want him on the field consistently, and the trust is just going to be there more than anywhere else. I don't know who else you can't say Donovan Green can do it because you haven't seen it. I mean, Bauer Sharp, I guess you can say that, but he was
Oklahoma's leading receiver, pass catcher,
and he was He came into college as a quarquarterback.
Yeah, Southeastern.
Now he's going to be an inline blocker. You know,
that's a real question.
I guess J.D. LaFleur would be the pick, but he was playing high school kids at Sulphur last year. You know, like,
big goatee guy.
Yes. You know, I mean, he's the most probably physically imposing from a blocking standpoint, but, you know, are you really going to trust the true freshman again when you have these other guys in the room? That's why, to me, it's going to be Tradez on.
Because I do think a lot is going to be put on, like, there's going to be a big focus on it. This is just strictly looking at it, like, we have 2 different lenses here where we try to evaluate it, like, without, you know, just justly. But I do have a pulse of the fan base because I am one. Like, I don't really run from it. There's going to be a huge impetus put on what they look like being able to run the football this year. Yes, because of how bad it was last year. You have to fix one of the 2 things. Like, if you're not going to have Will Campbell and Emory Jones, and Garrett Nussmeier is not going to take off, like he didn't do it last year.
Right.
And so there's going to be somebody saying in the stadium at some point, run the fucking ball.
Yes. That's why you brought in Alex Atkins.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I'm interested to see how they put all of this together, and they have time. I'm not being like negative about it at all.
That's a storyline going into spring
for sure.
Something to have your eye on.
It's just been so many positive things going in, like, of all the things that you brought in, and it's like, well, how does it all work together?
Yes,
like, you have a bunch of very expensive ingredients. Can you cook?
Yeah, no, that was the point I made when I first went on this morning. Was one of the things I wish that I was
Jay
out
Johnson
there.
can cook.
Right.
He's got a lot of ingredients.
He's got so many ingredients. Like that, I wish I was on the field at practice because, one, you get to feel the energy and kind of the dynamic that you can only feel by being there in person.
You just miss Coach Davis.
Of course. But two, like seeing all these new things thrown together, whether it's players, whether it's coaches, whether it's analysts, like there's a lot of new pieces in this puzzle. And that does.
If the water's ready.
No, I mean it'll be
Good.
but we've got our best guys on it. Christian's out there at
The
practice
water?
today.
Oh.
No, we've got our best guys covering practice today. Christian's out there.
Doing.
Their first questions were, "Wait, you're sending Christian to the press conference?" I was like, "Yeah, he's not asking any questions. His job is to sit there. You can take a few notes, you can get a few videos. Don't open your mouth."
I don't know if I trust him to even not ask a question. He might.
I don't think he will. I don't think he's got.
No,
that
he
in
wouldn't
him.
raise his hand. He would just say something out loud.
I don't think he's got it in him.
No, I think he's that
Stupid?
Yeah.
Maybe. I guess
Coach-
we'll find out.
He could ask for.
Dating
BK's
advice.
Yeah, I was about to say he's in a long-standing marriage. Like, how did you do it? Did
that
you
was-
get in trouble after? Did you know you were hooked after 4 dates in a row?
Sabrion said maybe BK will ask Christian about his date, about the Christian Mingle segment.
Christian Mingle.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of storylines going. We didn't finish the offense. We got receivers next.
know.
Who's your three? Your three receivers.
I saw the Chris Hilton play yesterday.
He's got to be in the three.
Yeah,
If he's healthy, he is in the three.
he needs to shed that label for sure.
He has to. Like that was a
But Chris, if he does, I think people are going to be surprised to see him out there every down.
yeah, because you've never
You've
seen it,
But you saw it when he does it,
buddy. It's electrifying.
and Nuss loves him.
Oh my gosh.
It just feels
Because
like
then
such
Nuss-
a back pocket weapon.
Yes, because Nuss can just say,
Go.
"Screw it, I'm gonna sling it."
But Aaron Anderson,
Yep.
and that doesn't help. I'm excited about Barry and Brown, but he just is another part of that toolkit that you kind of already had. It's like when you have.
I don't think he'll be in the first three.
It's like when you get the toolkit from the father-in-law or whatever, where it's like, why do we have so many sockets? Don't these all do the same thing? And it's like, no, they all fit different places. You just have to figure out how to use it.
Right.
But that's Barry and Brown, Xavier Thomas, and Aaron Anderson. Yes. That's what it feels like to me.
And Chris Hilton almost.
No, Chris Hilton's different. I'm talking about guys that operate in space the way that they do. Barry and Brown's they're all
there's smaller
returner
guys that are
guys.
going to be 100%.
You saw Xavier and Thomas step back there for 1 second and run it back.
Yes.
I can do this too. And until they got, if you want to put Chris Hilton in this conversation, you can, but him withstanding, until they got Nick Anderson.
Right, that's my third.
You were going to, what's this offense going to look
like?
Are they going to go just east and west and it would be dynamic, but you didn't have that big-bodied receiver, then you got Nick Anderson, and everybody was like, okay, cool.
That's, to me, that would be it would be Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson, and Chris Hilton.
That sounds great to me.
With Barry and Brown, Xavier and Thomas, Kyle Parker all getting, in on the
Jelani
mix.
Watkins.
Watkins, Destin
Down
Hill.
the sidelines.
That would be awesome. But yeah, to me, and then
They almost. Not to bring it back to baseball, but it does feel a bit like that in the skill room of how are you going to manage all of this talent and figure out how to get them on the field at the right time? Kyle Parker, you want to see play. Jelani Watkins, you'd love to see play. Aaron Anderson, obviously has established himself as somebody that has to be on the field for 3 downs.
Right.
I think Xavier Thomas is in that mold too, where he didn't get the ball enough.
No, not at all.
And then you look at the receiver, Harlan Berry can be a guy that gets touches.
Yeah.
Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson,
Trey Des Green.
All of these things. That's a good problem to have, but I also don't know how you
It's also a
you
stressor.
divvy it up.
Right. As much as it's awesome to have all that talent, it can get stressful trying to figure out how to make it work. And that's what's going to be on LSU's docket for this upcoming season is make it work.
So those are your 3?
Those are my 3. So my offense is Nuss at quarterback, Durham at running back.
You just penciling in Nuss?
I mean, I don't know. I think Juwan Johnson can really
They should do a video where all of these throws that are hitting people like back shoulder and like perfectly in the bucket, and then just cut to Jawan.
That would be awesome.
That's why I don't work there.
Left to right, Tyree Adams, DJ Chester, Braylon Moore, Josh Thompson, Carius Kern. Trade as at tight end, and my receivers are Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson, Chris Hilton. That's the offense.
Sito Palmubenga?
Nope.
I think that's fair. If you have Cohen Eccles and who's your right guard?
Josh Thompson.
Who's your right tackle?
Carius Kern.
If you have those two on the field at the same time, you could run the toss offense.
Oh, my
Those
gosh.
are your two athletes, two guys that played basketball and are cutting backflips.
Big time.
I think that's an athletic offensive line, so you should be able to move the football.
Yes.
But, yeah, I don't see
Tight end.
I'm interested to see if Nick Anderson just gets penciled in like this just because of he didn't obviously didn't play, but
Right.
the year before he kind of had a C.J. Daniels type year where he went
Right.
double-digit touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, and it's like, okay, I want to see it. I think he's going to be more of that mold of what you saw him at LSU as opposed to like a dominant player of like a straight-up one.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
No, it is. It's fair. I just think that the ulterior dynamic he brings is going to give him more of the opportunity.
Right. But
be on the
you
field.
you didn't even see LSU really utilize the one last year.
Right.
Like
Right.
Kyron Lacey showed up in flashes, and you can say like if he was a true one or not. But that was if we play the X, that's what you are, and
Yes.
that's where Kyron Lacey was, and Nick Anderson's going to be in that spot because you have to be able to mix it around with Chris Hilton, whether it's put him in the slot or put him just on off coverage in different spots to move him around.
Yeah.
But if you're just a straight up one, Nuss spreads the ball around too much for that to have a really impactful go-to guy.
Right.
So far, from what I've seen,
Yeah. From last year's perspective.
like he was completing balls to 12 different guys.
Yeah. No. I mean, he's not one of the guys. He doesn't get lasered in on one receiver because of how
No,
much
'cause
he
God
trusts his
forbid.
arm.
Yeah.
Like I can make any throw to anybody. In his mind, so why would it's not just one guy I need to throw the ball to? Like it would have been nice in that first game against USC for him to get locked
Well, he
in a
did
little
to
bit more
Kyron.
on Kyron Lacey at the start. And in the
shot
second
that.
half,
Well, then he shot that guy on the field.
He did.
He got punished.
He did. He did get punished. But then the starting defense will have to be on a whole nother show because
Oh my God.
that one's going to be quite the conversation.
Does it? Oh, I'm trying to look up.
Well, you're looking up the roster?
No, I was gonna do what he did last year just to see everybody.
Oh, Nussmeier's stats.
The wide receiver stats.
The wide receiver stats from last season.
All right, here I am. You had
No C.J. Daniels touchdowns. I remember that.
well, they did have one. He got called back.
Yeah.
He transferred.
What you got for
Aaron
me?
Anderson led your team in catches with 61.
Yep.
Kyron Lacey, 58. Mason Taylor, 55. C.J. Daniels, 42. And then Josh Williams with 31.
That's spread around.
Trey Green, 13. Chris Hilton, 9. I'd imagine that number goes up if God willing.
God, Chris Hilton had 9 catches.
For 243 and 3 touchdowns. Average 40 yards a catch.
That's
It's
unbelievable.
Randy Moss.
That's crazy. I was about to say, I thought he had 4 touchdowns, and they were on 9 catches. That's wild.
That's dangerous.
I'm telling you, a full season.
I would
could
get
be dangerous.
fired, if I was an NFL, Putnick.
Right.
If I worked for a team, pounding the table, be I'm telling you.
You have to.
When it's good, it's great.
Because it is, that was the first thing that popped in my head when I
he
saw
had
that
9
video yesterday.
catches. Look at the touchdowns.
Right. When I saw that video put out yesterday of him catching the deep ball, my first thought was, I need this every game.
It can't.
You have.
It feels like it's not going to happen just because it hasn't
It
yet.
hasn't, right.
But if he, I'm telling y'all, what we saw last year, he was dynamic. Not only just the go ball, but all over the football
Right.
field where he's this is a true wide receiver. and then you never really got. That was unbelievable what happened, and I
never got.
I don't
it.
even like talking about it.
Yeah,
dude.
it is. It is.
And also, speaking of dynamic, John Emery 1 catch for 10 yards.
Come on, star.
Oh, you put him at the star?
Yeah, might as well. At this point, who's going to play star?
John Emery on defense.
You might as well give it a shot. Let him play every position on the field.
And he can pass.
You know what? Look, should we bite the bullet and do the defense right now or no?
So let's just finish up the receiving. So going into this year, Aaron Anderson with 61 catches is your returning leading receiver, right?
Right.
Xavier Thomas with 23. Do you expect an uptick in that? Like, I'm trying to figure out how to parcel these out. So when I say Aaron Anderson with 61 catches, who do you think LSU's leading receiver will be next year?
Aaron Anderson.
So playing that same role.
Yep. I would believe Xavier Thomas's role will be
Expanded.
The same. I think it's going to be the same.
I feel bad for him.
Right, I agree, but I don't think you don't bring in a guy like Barry and Brown and then expand Xavier Thomas's role.
I think they just took him because he was available.
Right, no, I agree.
They had money to burn.
I agree, but I think now he's going to get the nod to get more opportunities in that spot than it made it harder for Xavier Thomas to get
playing time.
Like compared to last year where it should have been easier.
Would you be shocked if you saw Xavier Thomas hit the portal in the spring window?
I don't think he'll do that because he's still your starting return man.
I mean,
you have other options, but I think he is. He's
right,
still your
but
punt
LSU
return guy.
could.
You think LSU will be the? I don't know.
Because
what
argument does he have if he wants to go to the table? It'd be like, well, we have Barry and Brown and Aaron Anderson.
He doesn't have an argument. It would I would be able to make sense of it if he hit the portal.
Yeah,
it would make sense.
There's an expanded role for him for a team in the SEC. I don't want him to. I don't even want to put it out in the ether.
Yeah,
but
I don't think he will. To me, the biggest one that I have highlighted portal wise is Caleb Jackson, and I think it's a layup, but that's the one to me. That's my concern for the portal is Caleb.
They got plenty of running backs on the roster.
They do, but nobody that can do that. Except for maybe him.
No,
nobody else knows who you're talking about.
Just because I know that was inside baseball. I do think that I'm not as concerned about Caleb Jackson hitting the portal anymore as it makes sense if he does, on paper. But I went back and kind of saw old Culotta show clips whenever we interviewed he and his high school coach.
Yes,
and he wasn't coming to LSU until Frank Wilson got in the mix. And so I think Frank Wilson has his ear as to how to get him back into the rotation of running backs because this is how I kind of do it anyway. So you can kind of look at last year as you can do it a throwaway year where, look, we asked you to gain weight, whatever it was. I still don't think he looked bad.
No.
He just didn't play well. He didn't, and a small sample opportunity because LSU didn't have the running game figured out and you were playing in so many high leverage football games that were so close that you fell into this trap with a first-time SEC play caller of, fuck it, I'm the quarterback coach, I'm going to throw it.
Yeah.
And you saw him do it 50 times, and so there was never really any rhythm to what they were doing offensively. And so Caleb Jackson never got to establish himself. But there is a mix for Frank to figure out because this isn't the Les Miles offense where you can have everybody's getting 15 touches and you got 3 of them. We're not running it 60 times a game. And so that's another pitching point that he has to figure out of if you're going to do a stable of backs where you have right now JT Lindsey, Harlan Berry, Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, John Emery. You got 5.
Is John Emery on the roster?
Hell yeah. Until otherwise.
Until I hear anything different.
That's the first name I wrote down. If I'm making a lineup card, I know he's here. You working out of the facility? Shoo.
Until I hear anything different. Yeah, no, I agree. There's a role for Caleb Jackson on this team.
I hope we get to come back to this.
What? To John Emery?
John Emery's on he's on that lineup? Yeah. Give him 8 carries against Auburn. 8 for 90 and a tud.
Give him 15 carries against USC in the opener.
I'm so glad you did that.
Bell cow back in game number 1. Coming off of an ACL tear.
Undertaker to everybody.
Literally. But don't forget
He'll do it again.
about our partnership with Roback. Code Tigers, TIGERS, 20% off. Got the dog on the shoulder. No dog for Lloyd this morning. This is Lloyd's first time not in the Roback since we got the Roback.
I felt like people thought I was being dirty. Yeah.
I know.
I did wash the purple one. Now the gray one's in the wash.
There you go.
I do
So
laundry.
you'll be ready to go the rest of the week. But don't forget, make sure you head over to Roback.com, check out their LSU collection, put in the code Tigers, TIGERS, for 20%
This is
off
not
with
nearly
a
as
first-time
comfortable.
email. Of course not. Of course not.
It's fire, but
It is nice. It is nice.
it's
But
not petting that dog.
we are past 8 a.m. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after a little word from our
No
sponsors.
JD. I
No
tried to
JD.
get him. He
It's
was
all right.
literally driving to spring
The Ponderosa.
practice because they're doing it at some 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I saw it come through on my
What
phone
was it last
this
year?
morning.
It was like 9:30.
9. It was like 9:30. Yeah.
What's the point? What is this?
I don't know.
You think that LSU people that cover it, and maybe it's us. I would love the compliment if they're so worried about that. But do you think that like people aren't going to wake up and go?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if it's just it might be more focused on the actual football team of like, y'all need to get up and get after it at 7 a.m. this morning.
That's something that LSU people would break down. Like, why so early?
Yeah, 100%.
Boys not
What's the storyline?
Yeah, boys not used to Red Stick Sports.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Well, the Oscar Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
4EA Insurance Agency, established in 1946, helping you with your home, auto, commercial, life and health insurance needs. Around in Baton Rouge at 4275 Government Street and online at 4EAagency.com. Whatever insurance you're in the market for, home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health, get in touch with 4EA Insurance Agency, 4EAagency.com, or give them a call at 225-383-0682. 4EA Agency.
Gordon. and get it done. Yeah, everybody know Gordon in a 225. He done link with Big Four. He got buku ties. Ferrari sliding, flying in a new coupe ride. And every time I ride by, I see a brand new sign. I'm a Gordon. I know that he gon' get it done. Whether it's a big truck crash or a hit and run. Recovery funds, he fighting to get a ton. Mike Epps, man, we all about the Benjamin. Handling injuries, man, are you kidding me? Gordon McKernan, that's champion energy. Yeah, family man with a family plan. Get Gordon, he gon' fix it like a handyman. Gordon, and get it done.
Welcome to Trifecta.
Trifecta Sports Therapy in Baton Rouge. Recover, repair, restore. At Trifecta, they believe in total body wellness. Trifecta gets the body back to its full potential. Whether you're a youth or pro athlete, a pre or postnatal mom, or if you lead an active lifestyle or a senior citizen, Trifecta has the class, the sports massage, the sports therapist, the stretch therapist, or the equipment like infrared sauna, cold plunges, and golf simulators to find your best. Find Trifecta online at trifectasportstherapy.com or check out the beautiful facility today, 8221 Goodwood. Trifecta Sports Therapy.
Hey, Tiger fans, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit us, Tom and Wright Granning, at Go Mart on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip.
Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on your left.
Also, stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Traditional sinners, OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up. Had to focus on my business, I'm coming back smarter. Hit up DJ, tell him go like I'm dropping the Carter. Coming back like KD, it's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip. Circumstances start to change and they jump in the ship. Only ones that really matter who's tied to your hip. They try to.
All right, welcome back here. Hour number 2, rocking and rolling. It's 8:16. Don't forget, we have Nick Underhill joining us at 8:30 to talk about all these splash moves the Saints have been making in free agency.
It actually is probably the most appropriate time to talk the Saints.
Yes.
Much harder to do it during the season where it's the most. What's the feeling ugh.
Apathetic?
Apathetic. That's the word I was looking for. You're I don't really I'll watch
care.
Yeah, it's hard. If you
it's
make
football.
me care, I'm gonna get angry.
Yeah.
This is if there's a huff of optimism in that brown paper bag, I'll take it, and it's right now. And so I am actually interested to see how, because I do feel bad for Nick, because he has to understand the cap and gets asked questions about some tweet the other day.
The cap I would never
where
even
he
touch.
was it was 5 in the morning, and it's so with the extension of, or the way that they manufactured Derek Carr's contract, what does that mean for, and he was dude, it's 5 a.m.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. I love that response.
Well,
because if somebody asked me that question, I'd be I don't know, bud.
He's
making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you can't pay a bunch of other people.
And I don't feel like answering this right now.
Right.
Because it's going to, that also shows how, complicated
it is.
Whatever the Saints are doing with the cap.
Yes.
Because I don't understand if it's real or not. But we'll get all of that from Nick at 8:30.
Well, yesterday,
what I do understand is LSU baseball.
Yes.
Because they are rolling.
That was pretty fun last night. that first inning, Schmidt goes out, gets the 3 outs.
Interesting to see him pitch.
That was my point when I opened it up this morning. I was surprised to see his name get called, and to get the ball to start. I was not surprised to see him not return for the second inning.
I think that was a statement in itself. If there's anything to glean from that game, it was like, hold on, get him out.
Yeah,
I was surprised to see Cooper Ware come in the same game.
Connor Ware.
Why do I keep doing that? I'm getting Jordy-itis.
You
dude.
are. That's why I'm here. I'm going to correct you. Like with Jordy, I just let him do it. I'm not going to let you.
Don't let me. Yeah,
I'm going to fix it quick.
I'm not that old yet. 33 has been.
I was surprised to see him get in the game later, especially when they went Jaden Newt right after, and then Connor Ware gets brought in,
and then Maverick Rizzi,
and then Kason Evans. I didn't really. Now nobody really pitched a lot of pitches.
Yeah, hold on. Let me find out how many they actually threw.
But it was an interesting dynamic in the guys that got their name called.
When I saw Kason Evans go out, I was surprised, but then I realized he hasn't thrown in a while.
Right, you had to keep the arm warm.
But
that one made sense to me. I didn't understand Schmidt getting the start, but
I did until Connor Ware came in, because I thought they were going to use him in kind of that like high leverage situation. But then he came in and didn't throw that well. Is that fair to say? Like, he didn't pitch great.
He scored 2 runs off him. 2 earned runs. He had 2 earned runs in that game yesterday.
And he couldn't throw strikes.
Yep. And then Myers came in the game.
That's me watching it because LSU was up 15. And it's like, all right, let's see. But I just thought the dynamic of how they used the pitching staff yesterday was interesting, because it could have been, and you saw Myers come in.
Yep, and he had
no primo.
2 walks, 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's exactly who you think
100%. I saw the stat. I saw him get out there.
And I watched him throw. Like, I watched that entire game.
I was like, yeah, I mean,
he had like 95 to 97 rise on his fastball, and then he would throw just one, like he would bounce one off a sponsor.
Well, and Xavier is a decent baseball team.
Better than we gave them credit for.
But LSU went out and handled business quick. I mean, 7-0 after 1.
They batted around. I think they had 11 hits in 2 innings.
Yep, that sounds right. I think they went 7 runs, 3 runs, 7 runs as Reeves hits a grand slam.
Yeah, he's
swinging the bat, buddy. He's swinging the bat. It's hard to take him off the field when he's swinging the bat like that. So, I don't know. I'm just thinking about he's going to be your starting third baseman. Yes.
For
Friday.
Probably Friday, and if he hits again Saturday.
Yep.
I guess, but Jay has the propensity to switch it. If it's a left or righty, like left-handed pitching versus right-handed pitching, that's how he can phrase it.
Right.
But I feel bad for Brazzi to come back for his senior year and just be like, oh, shit.
Lose his job.
Yeah. Kind of lost his job.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I did one thing I liked from LSU standpoint was you can kind of fall asleep in these midweek games. And we've talked about it. Great teams take care of business. And LSU didn't just get the win. Like, they went out there and took care of business.
I'm telling you.
Like, ended the game in the first inning.
Like, that's why it was hard to not expect that yesterday, whatever. It's like,
right.
Look ahead spot. It's like, I really don't think so. I think they're this
dialed.
Good right now.
They are dialed.
They are dialed in, and the way they're running the bases and, like, taking extra bases.
Yes.
You saw Pearson do it. The little Bobby Billy Pearson gets in, and he also is swinging for the fences. He had 3 daddy hacks, and it's like,
he wants it,
I get it, because it's, 14-2 when he comes in. It's like,
come on. Let me have
what
some
else
fun.
am I going to do? But just the way that they're kind of polished up on the defensive end when it comes through the infield and the outfield. And Stanfield had a great game last night too. Like that, if they're going to play like that, that was an easy 18.
Yeah, no, it was just a calm 18. Like
that should be a thing.
Just 18. That's what it was. Like, it wasn't like they're grinding, running up the score. Like, it was just 18 fell in your lap.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like, that's what I talk about whenever I say if they're going to play like this and they put, like, the left on base stat that we talk about all the time, or people talk about all the time, and, like, how can you leave this many people on base, or how many times can you leave the runners in scoring position?
Yes.
It's like, well, if they don't, they're going to score 20. Like, that was the perfect almost makeup of you have people that get on base and you put them, like, and you turn them, like, you put the carousel around. Like, everybody was riding the horse yesterday.
So to you, is the lineup somewhat set in stone right now?
Yes. Yeah.
1 through 9.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, obviously, I think when you see, like, the catcher spot will alternate, so Luis doesn't have to catch every single game.
You saw both of them play yesterday. You saw all three of them play yesterday.
Yep. But to me, I mean, when you go through 1 through 6, 7 is your catcher, whether it's Aaron Beatty or Hernandez, and then right now 8 and 9 are locked up as well with Reeves and Stanfield.
Yeah.
It's a, and I guess the 4 hole is kind of.
If Reeves swings it like Ed
4 hole's kind of up for grabs.
Credit to us. You shouldn't be that surprised. Like somebody that hits 400 for 2 years and has the amount of pop that he did, and like junior college or not, 400 is hard to do. And now he has. I didn't know he had this much pop, but then you look at the numbers. I think he had 23 homers.
He had
in 2 years.
28 in 2 years.
Yeah, 28 in 2 years. Like that plays, and he feels like the new, like what's the word, like metrics of Alec Box, like play for him.
Yes.
Like he can't pop it up foul to right field, and he's like kind of living in this right field power alley. And then they dropped him 2 right in the sweet spot for a lefty. That was like, what are you doing? Are you his best friend? Like, these are in the bucket for him to step in the bucket, squish the bug. Like, we don't have to think about this. Lifted. And having that in the 8 hole is a luxury.
Yes.
As opposed to where you were earlier. And that's not to say that like Browsy can't turn it around, but that getting power from that spot. Dickinson goes deep too, right after Jones.
Yep.
Podna.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a good showing for LSU baseball last night. Where they can just go out there and take care of business. And that was the last time you'll see them before SEC play.
Oh.
No, not the last time ever. But SEC play does begin on Friday as Missouri is headed to town. They might run it up on Missouri. They're this dialed.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to
be sunshine pump.
I don't want a sunshine pump to the extent that you expect a sweep and then everybody's mad when they don't do it. Baseball can still baseball, but fuck me, man. They are good right now.
Yeah.
And you get to play at home, depending on the weather. If everything's like stays the same, because you can't discount like the quality of starter you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
Like that, the question marks you have going into a weekend that you're used to having around LSU aren't really there right now. And I hate talking about baseball like this because it makes me physically ill, because I feel like So yeah, they're in a good spot.
Yeah, no.
Whenever
definitely.
I get this close to it, I get nervous.
No, I agree.
I have to have a job to do.
But we'll have Nick Underhill here in 4 minutes.
Let's say, why don't we tee up a Saints? What do we talk about? What do you want to talk about with Nick?
I mean, we're going to ask him about the Juwan Johnson contract yesterday, because that one I think caught everybody off guard a little bit.
Oh, Reed.
They signed Justin Reed, which I thought was a great move. But I think the biggest impetus, the biggest question is, what are they like? What's the current?
What's the plan?
Avenue, the plan for the Saints. Like, what are they doing?
They're so sporadic.
They're just so, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you trade Marshawn Lattimore because you're getting ready to rebuild and you're going to hire a new coach. And then you hire a new coach and you decide, well, you know what, we're going to start restructuring everybody again. We're going to keep Derek Carr here. We're going to go out and get a star safety after we let Will Harris walk. We're going to sign Chase Young to an extension. We're going to bring Juwan Johnson back for $10 million a year.
Oh, fuck you. That's not fair that you can be right and make me think you're wrong. Damn it.
The whole 9. So we're going to have Nick here. We're going to set him up right here. Quick break. We'll be back with Nick Underhill from New Orleans.football. Sorry, Lloyd.
That's Juwan gone. Oh, Long Johnson.
Pause.
No.
Hey.
It's from a movie.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Family calls family. That saying resonates even more as your family grows. And we can't seem to stop growing. Meet the newest member of the Get Gordon family, Penny's cousin Rosie. Rosie already knows, the larger your family, the more people you have to lift you up during trying times. Just like at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we've grown to over 200 team members with over 50 local attorneys. So whether you pick Penny, employ Ellie, roll with Rosie, or get Gordon, we want to be your lawyers for life.
Your lawyers for life.
Phil's Oyster Bar, a staple of South Louisiana since 1945, located in Southdown Shopping Center and online at philsoysterbar.com. If you log online, you can learn about the private party schedule, the catering menu, and even order online. Daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Learn about the history when Gus Piazza took it over in the early 70s, made it an absolute stop-in for everyone who came through Baton Rouge, and now Anthony, his son, carrying on the tradition. Phil's Oyster Bar, Southdown Shopping Center, and online, philsoysterbar.com.
It's rare to find someone you can count on when it's go time. It's even more rare to find someone you can count on, well, all the time. At Sunshine, we're proud to offer the John Deere equipment you need and the team can defend on and off the field. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Spend the summer stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trey Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the block like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up. Had to focus on my business, I'm coming back smarter. Hit up DJ, tell him go like I'm dropping the Carter. Coming back like KD, it's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip. Circumstances start to change and they jumping the ship. Only ones that really matter, who's tied to your hip. They tried to push you to the side cause they thought you would quit. May bend but never break, your cloth is legit. When you return in rare form, they all gonna be sick. You ever seen a living legend, just know that I'm it. Slow grind like IT, just know that I'm it. Now I'm back up in my bag, I'm giving them fits. Bouncing back like John Morant, you know that I'm lit. Making plays like Jack Beck.
All right, we're back here, closing out hour number 2 of the Jordy Culotta Show. Getting ready to talk a little Saints here in the crux of the offseason with Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football. Nick, good to talk to you. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good. I guess we'll start off. Yesterday was an entertaining day to be a Saints fan, to be someone covering the team.
Confusing.
I would agree. The offseason so far has been somewhat confusing. What's your current feel for the path that the Saints are on? Like, what is their avenue they're moving in?
I mean, I think there's still going to be some additions here. I think it's just, it's a little bit early in the process, and they've never been a team that's kind of made those big swings in the early portions of free agency. I mean, there's been a few throughout the years like Jarris Bird, but typically they kind of wait for that second, third, fourth wave to try to find better value. And I can't necessarily say I disagree with that. Like, if you're someone that wants them to be a little bit more cap compliant, cap responsible, you probably don't want to see them spending huge money on day one free agents. So I think it's a little bit of retain. And now I think we'll see them probably try to add a couple frontline guys here in the second wave of free agency and build out their depth and probably go from there. But yeah, I mean, look, to this point, there hasn't been, Justin Reed's a pretty sizable addition to the team, but to this point, otherwise, it's mostly been just trying to keep their own guys. Part of that's due to the way they structure their cap, letting Juwan Johnson go, for instance, like bring $6.5 million in dead money. So that's something that you have to consider as you're trying to figure out how you're going to build your team and everything. So I think we'll see some more action here, though. Maybe even starting later this afternoon once the new league year starts and teams cut some of their veteran players.
Hold on real quick. If you could go back in time, and if you're the Saints GM, you can only do one signing over again. You have to pick one. Brandon Browner or Jarius Byrd?
Ooh. I mean, Browner was cheaper and probably easier to get rid of, so I'd probably go Browner over Byrd. I mean, the idea of the Byrd thing, I mean,
it was so exciting.
It was, and it was two things. So, like, the thing I would do different is I would bring him in for a physical and find out, he needed that surgery immediately after he got signed, and then, I think the thing that really set him back is he got that knee injury in practice early on, and it just never really settled. I think I would go Browner because I could cut him and walk away much easier.
Okay, agreed. Or should have just kept Champ Bailey.
Well, yeah, maybe not that one either.
I wanted that jersey so bad.
I can imagine.
It'd be a good one. That or Des Bryant, I think, are like top two.
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Peterson was around too long to be funny, though.
Yeah, that's true.
The Des and Bailey are like a little bit funnier.
Yeah, the Des one's awesome. The Chase Young extension, the signing. What do you see the Saints doing there, bringing Chase Young back for a couple more years?
I think it's a little more expensive and a touch longer than I would prefer. If you told me, I don't know, 230 feels different than 351, and it's a year and a couple $1 million, but it does feel a little bit different. It feels a little bit pricey. I mean, I think he's gonna definitely have to outperform what he did last season. Ended up 5.5 sacks, 6.5 if you count a 2-point conversion. I think if that number is coming around 8.5, 9 every year, like it's a fine deal. It's middle tier edge rusher salary. He was 7th in the league in pressures last year. But I definitely think you need to see a little bit more production to kind of justify $51 million over 3 years. I doubt he'll see all 3 years of it or all the money out of it. I mean, there'll probably be a reworking or something before the end of that. But, I don't think you can get to the end of that and be paying $51 million for 18 sacks and feel good about that deal. Like, it definitely has to be more than what he did last season. But if you're going to spend on upside and kind of overpay a little bit, which – I do think they're kind of backed in a corner at that position due to how they've drafted over the years, just because there's no depth. Like, if you let Chase Young go, all of a sudden you're standing in a situation where you just have Granderson and Cam Jordan, and that's not a good place to be. So I do think that you kind of
could have doubled back and doubled down on Trey Hendrickson and free agency. Do it again.
Yeah, I mean, trading massive salary though.
Right.
I mean, like if you're just trying to backstop it with like a decent guy though, I think you're kind of in a position where if you let him go, you're forced to draft an edge rusher at 9. And if you don't love Shamar Stewart, and I don't know if they do or don't, but like you don't want to be in a position where it's like we have to take him, and say something crazy happens and Cam Ward falls and you want to trade up and get him or something. Like you're just so backed into a corner where you have no other option that you can do if you don't sign him. So I think you kind of have to overpay a little bit. That's what happens. Like I was saying before, early free agency, everyone gets overpaid a little bit. I think they had to overpay a little bit, and it's a result of Marcus Davenport, Peyton Turner, Isaiah Foskey. Like if any of those hit, like I think you can play your cards a little bit differently there. But like that was a absolute must. And I think, opportunity, price, player, age of player, all that stuff kind of comes together there where it meets and it's palatable, but I don't think you love it. You don't feel like you got great value or anything like that.
You bring up the draft. What do you expect the Saints to do on April 24th when the draft gets started?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably, I think Shamar's somebody that'll probably be under consideration there. Like he's very much a Saints type of prospect, very very athletic, explosive pass rusher. That's the type of guys I like. But I think Ty Warren is still my top guy on the list. They just signed Juwan, but they need another tight end. He's very versatile, can do a lot of different stuff. I think he's somebody that's very high on their board. That they have a lot of interest in the Penn State tight end. For
Penn
those
State
wondering who I'm talking about.
Yeah, tight end, kicker, like paint your fence.
Yeah,
like,
I heard you typing. So I said it. Yeah.
No, I was typing.
I figured.
I know who he is.
He can do everything. He can carry the ball. He's a very good pass catcher. I think Loveland from Michigan is probably a little bit of a better pure receiver at tight end, but Warren's a much better blocker. So I think you kind of get this total package there if you take him. I think Ashton Genty is somebody that's definitely under consideration at that spot. I mean, if I had to make my cloud of 3 guys as of today, I think those would be the 3 that are in it.
Okay, I'll take your. For some reason, I was not typing in Ty Warren and where he went to college.
I'm sure you weren't. I'm sure
I
you
was
weren't.
typing in if Foster Moreau was still under contract because now you have 2 tight ends
he is.
For the New Orleans Saints. So I just wanted to see if he was, because he played well last year. So that's what made me think of if they needed that, if that was actually a position of need, because so many people are comparing Warren to Taysom Hill, who went to BYU. Like they kind of feel like that same player, and they're looking for somebody in that same mold, which makes sense, I guess, if you're a Saints fan. But it just feels like there's so many needs other places. And you say a name like Ashton Genty, you just re-signed Kamara to a new deal. Like, is that really addressing more of a placating to the fans, or is it like addressing an actual need? Like to get you excited.
First, Foster Moreau's a tight end that went to LSU for Lloyd.
Number 18.
Hold up.
He went to Jesuit.
Hold up though. You actually think the Saints do things to placate fans? Because everything they do pisses everybody off. So they definitely are not doing fan service with the draft.
It's the worst relationship ever. It's like they go out until 3 a.m. and then they come back with flowers. You're like, no, where were you? And it's like, no, but I got these for you. This is what I was doing. Like even the Justin Reed signing is like, tangentially tied to Louisiana. Like they did it with Jarvis Landry. Like all of these little things that they do, they're like, I'm kind of interested. Like even Tyrann Mathieu was the biggest swing of all. Like that's basically an engagement ring, but it's made of it's a CZ. Like you're not trying to actually win anything, but I get what you're doing. Like if they signed Leonard Fournette, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think they do anything to placate the fans though. They don't. I don't think
you don't
they
think
care.
there's anything. This is actually something I'm interested in. You don't think that that's part of what he's like Mickey Loomis's little mind games that he's doing? Like, oh, they'll love this.
No, I don't think they do that at all. I not even a little bit. Like I think if anything, there's just he's the most unbothered person of all time. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think he does anything to try to placate the fans. Like the Tyrann Marcus May remake it in the secondaries because they wanted to get more dynamic at that position and create more turnovers, and that was Tyrann. And then they obviously missed on May, and I think they're still trying to figure that out. Justin Reed coming back. They need a box safety to play against the run, somebody that can make tackles down in the box. Brandon Staley plays a softer front, a lighter front overall. So that safety being able to come down and make a tackle, that's maybe the most important thing they need to do. That and along with Godchaw, you got 2 guys now, both do have Louisiana ties kind of so there is that, but they just really need to be better at run defense up the middle. And I think that's it. I honestly, I think my criticism of what they do is that I feel like there could be and I don't think they should ever placate the fans through moves or whatever, but I think they if you want to make a criticism, I would say that there's just not a lot of the messaging in that. I think it could be where they could do a better job of placating fans, and that stuff doesn't happen. But I don't think they make moves with that in mind, and they definitely won't make a draft pick at 9 with that in mind. I think where the league's going, everybody, you need 2 running backs, and the league as a whole is shifting back to run game. For a while it got lighter, it got spread out. Now you're getting heavier fronts, you're running the ball more, your linebackers are getting bigger, your safeties are going back to getting bigger, your running backs are becoming more important. 300-yard passers, that there aren't, a lot of those every week. You look at the passing numbers overall, you're up a game every season, and passing numbers for quarterbacks as a whole are down. Like, you go back and look to see the yardage leader every year, like that number is going down and the games are going up. So like the league has just changed. It's shifted back more toward that. And look, I think you got a year with Alvin, maybe 2 at most before he decides to retire and, go ski or do whatever, he's go get involved with all the stuff he does. Like, Alvin has a world of interesting things waiting for him, NASCAR, all that. Like, I think he's probably 2 years away from probably doing that. So I think like drafting a running back, like you would start that shift kind of the same way it was in 17 when they took Alvin and they had Ingram, and you can build your team around that 2-headed monster. I think it would be smart. The criticism against it and the reason not to do it is that maybe that your team isn't fully built all the way to fully take advantage of a running back that costs that much draft capital. And Saquon's a great example. Like in New York, great running back, one of the best in the league, 1,000-yard player. Philadelphia gets behind the best line in the league. He's a 2,000-yard player. Like, I don't think that they're in a position where you're like putting him all the way up on the pedestal, because I don't think your team's completely built. Maybe that's the finishing piece. Like, that would be the reason not to do it. But I think there's a lot of reasons to do it as well.
Yeah. What have you thought of the staff moves now that it's kind of all set in stone for Kellen Moore as he's the new Saints head coach?
I think it pieces together, offensively. Like, everybody's kind of from that DNA, 4 guys from Philly on that staff. They all kind of fit together. They all kind of make sense defensively. A lot of guys from different places, but the idea of it, I think, makes sense. We'll see in execution if it looks as good as it does on the thought process. But I look at the defense and I think they need to get like a lot of young players and bring them in. And I think development is going to be at the forefront of what you have to do to kind of rebuild that side of the ball, because you can't sign 11 Justin Reeds. Like, it's going to take mid-round draft picks. It's going to take some free agents, some younger guys, getting better, stepping up in the roles to rebuild that. Because like they need guys all the way across the board, and they aren't getting any younger. And it's a lot of people with college backgrounds, Bo Davis, Sermon, Terry Joseph, all these guys are coming from the college ranks. And, I think development of players is paramount in college, probably more so than, in the NFL. So I like the idea of it. We'll see with Brandon Staley. Like, I think he's a very smart person. We'll see if he, getting back to being a DC allows him to kind of just showcase everything and eliminate the things that kind of held him back as a head coach. Probably the most intense individual I've ever talked to in my life. Like, just like his default state of being is incredibly intense. But he's I like the idea of the pieces, seeing where they come from. I think there's some creative thinking with that defensive staff, which kind of is exciting to see and see how it plays out. But I think they have the guys there to be successful. If they can establish the right culture early on.
I have a couple of different questions, but I'll ask this one from the chat because I do think it ties into what y'all were just talking about with the younger staff and what they're kind of building in the Saints organization. Would it make sense for the Saints to trade back and continue to build with a younger staff that they're trying to put together from that first pick, 9 overall?
Absolutely. I mean, like, if the right players are there, like if you're going up to pick at 9 and there's 3 or 4 guys that you like and you feel like you can trade back and get them and get more picks and keep swinging the bat, absolutely. Because there are just so many needs. Like there's just so many needs, and I think getting more players in is definitely something that would make a lot of sense. And I just, we've never seen them do it. We've never seen them do it. So it's not something that I can predict that they're going to do. It's not something I expect them to do. But if it makes sense, I would absolutely consider it. Last year, I think it was under consideration when they came up on the board. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's out of the question in a draft like this where, I think it kind of like flattens out a little bit. It could make some sense for sure. And, yeah, I mean, look, I think they need to go like get a playmaker. I would sign one, probably draft one, and then from there, like I think you could justify taking all your picks on defense. yeah. I think you could justify a lot of picks on that defense. So like you need pass rushers, you need defensive tackles. DeMario isn't getting any younger. You need a linebacker. You need, currently another cornerback for sure. Another safety in there to get behind Reed and Tyron, I think would make a lot of sense. So I mean, you could just load up on defense big time, and get more picks. I think would help with that.
Last one, and I'll get you out of here. Thank you for sticking with us for this 8:30 hour. What did you make of being able to meet with the staff the way that you did? Because it felt very much the way that you wrote about it was almost like an open Q&A, and it didn't feel like a press setting at all. It felt very much like it was very organic, and like you got to kind of get to know some of the new people on staff. So I just wanted to see kind of what your mind felt about that, gleaning off the new staff.
Yeah, it's different, man. Like when Sean was the coach, like it was a lot of a lot less access overall. Although at the end, like he was a little bit more open door. So I'm kind of lying a little bit there, I guess. Like towards the end, like there were times, but this group seems
how good they were.
Yeah, well, there was that, and it just seems so far like this Kellen Moore stuff. Like it just seems like they're interested in sharing their viewpoints on things, and I think that's incredibly helpful when there's a new staff coming in, just because you can ask them the questions and be informed and find out kind of how they do things, what they're thinking, and all that. But yeah, this was like it was like a lunch. They threw a couple guys up at the podium to talk and do some official media setting stuff, but really, it was just kind of like sitting around chatting and getting to know them and being able to ask them, some of their philosophy questions and relate to them as humans. And, I think that's always good. Like the more relationship and more human it is between media person, coach, like when it comes time to cover the team, like
City.
They understand where you're coming from, and maybe they aren't as guarded with you because they've had more interaction with you over time. So I think it's helpful. And shout out to the Saints for it, because it hasn't always been like that. So like for that to kind of be a shift is definitely, for now, better for us. If they start losing games, I'm sure like the relationship changes and everything, but gonna take full advantage right out the gate. And yeah, man, it's different, and it's good. Not everything has to be a state secret. And I think there's just some understanding of that. And I think for us on this side of the table, like we're definitely appreciative of them taking that approach early on.
Definitely. Well, great stuff as always, Nick. We appreciate you this morning. What do you have going on over there at New Orleans.football? Anything exciting?
Yeah, it's just all free agency coverage, man. Anyone they sign, we got the analysis up there, doing a ton of shows, talking, nonstop stuff. The start of the league year is officially this afternoon. So, if there's any, they aren't in Aaron Rodgers, but like Aaron Rodgers.
I was about to say Aaron Rodgers to the Saints.
No, but they become like free agents. So like any vets that are going to get cut by their team get cut this afternoon, okay. And that kind of like will restart that that free agency clock again. I think most of it's 70% done, but there's still kind of probably some headliners out there. So we'll have an eye out for all that stuff, and I think this is when you start seeing some bargains. So I think the Saints are going to sign a few guys probably over the next few days, and we'll have all the coverage of that.
Antonio Brown and Junior Gillette, bring them back.
Yeah. AB never made it in, though. AB never made it in.
Neither does. He could have been something special. All-world team.
Oh, man.
We appreciate you.
All right, guys.
Later.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, take it easy.
Oh, my
Yeah, great
God.
stuff as always. No, that's awesome.
I love talking Saints with him because he's so honest about it. Like,
yes.
He knows when they suck, and there's nothing that the Saints or he
right.
can do about it. And it's just he has a good feel for what the franchise is, but then he's always kind of like optimistic about it. But
yeah,
he cracks me up, dude. I fucking know where Foster Moreau went to college. I know.
It was funny how the typing did start like right after he said it.
I know who Ty Warren is.
That's funny. It was funny. But yeah, great stuff as always. It's an interesting direction, interesting time for the Saints. But I don't hate the Shamar Stewart pick. After what he did at Texas A&M, watching it front and center right here in this chair against LSU. But Ashton Genty, I think, would probably be the fan favorite. I think if they went and got Ashton Genty, it would get everybody.
And it makes sense
up.
for probably what, I'm not going to insult him. Kellen Moore wants to do offensively. Like, he's used to having a staple back.
Right,
like,
right.
What he did last year, be like, all right, I can build around this and kind of start my Saquon era with Ashton Genty.
Saquon era.
But I do wonder, and I wanted to ask this too, because football is so funny in this way. like the scales, like the Libra scale starts to tip one direction like it's doing right now, where it's like everybody's like, oh, we need bigger-bodied linebackers. So when everybody plays cover 2, and you need a safety that can tackle. So we're getting away from the spread. Like, why wouldn't a team just stay in the spread then? If everybody's building one way, why would you change? Yeah. As opposed to being like, oh, we have to do it this way because now defense is doing this. Well, now they're reacting.
You don't have to follow suit.
Right, because would that not be the smart thing to do when you start seeing trends in one direction that you've already seen happen before? It's like, we'll stick it out for 2 years to be the team that wins at year 3.
Yeah, if all the defenses are building up to stop that,
why don't we do this?
Why don't we do this?
Which is what we're already doing.
Right. No, I agree.
But people don't think like that.
But Kellen Moore's mindset is, I mean, he was kind of one of the ones that started this new wave. Like the Eagles are kind of they're the blueprint now.
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody's going to chase what?
Right. And you went and got the Eagles offensive coordinator, which means that you're going to end up being one of the ones that chases,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're on the wrong side of history once again.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. So
because Sean was the opposite.
Right, yeah. He was a pioneer.
Like nobody
break the mold.
Nobody was throwing for 5,000 yards.
Right.
And now everybody is, but now it's like, no, we need to run for 2,000. Okay, draft Ricky Williams with your first overall pick.
Trade everything you have to get that pick. How about it? Don't forget the rest of this week.
They had a bunch of questions about.
I knew you were about to get. You were getting into it. Yeah. Arch E
and Arch orchestrating to cut like Tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Don't forget the rest of this week. The show will look a little different. Tomorrow morning it'll be a quick one, 7 to about 7:45. Because I've got to get on the road to Lake Charles for a run at a state championship. And then Friday, hopefully I will still be in Lake Charles. And I will not be in town, so Lloyd and Christian may get you through your Friday, but we shall see. So just don't be surprised. What looks a little different through the rest of the week. We appreciate you guys this morning. Sticking it out with me for the first 30 minutes while I was a one-man band.
I left him at the altar.
But I appreciate Lloyd rushing over here. Thank you, sir.
I'm not rushing.
Getting in here. What are you?
American.
Come on. A true American. Rah! It's an eagle scream.
Oh.
But we appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning. And Christian will break down football practice. He just sent me over the clips. I'm getting it all edited right now. It'll be uploaded to YouTube once practice is over. And y'all be able to.
It's already over?
No, not yet. Once practice is over, then I can post everything live.
Oh, yeah.
So be on the lookout. Go ahead and hit that bell. If you're here right now, ring the bell, subscribe, be ready because clips from LSU football practice will be up very soon.
I'm sure it's exciting as always. Like
it's about a 9-minute.
Big surprise coming at 9 a.m. You won't even believe it.
Yes, it's about a 9-minute video.
You won't believe what happened at LSU practice
today. You won't believe it.
Stay.
Who was at practice? What?
Just saying. Yeah. Y'all don't know, but we do.
And I just watch it the whole time. Show, yeah. I would make sure you check it out. I would make sure to
release the tapes.
To ring that bell.
Pet that dog.
Pet that dog. Row back. Tigers. Tigers. Go.
I can't believe what we've seen today from LSU football.
And it'll all be posted soon here on the Jordy Culotta Show. 9 minutes of LSU football coverage from practice this morning. Brought to you by Christian Kelly.
This morning.
Before his date at lunch.
Goodbye.
Hey, Chino. Cut my headphones up, bro. Yeah, right there. Where they at? Now I'm focused on getting deposits. Evil in the way, now I'm just driving around it. They said I need a soul searching, I already found it. I unlocked my other side, now I'm sounding.